Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to attain true gnosis. Today is the day that you've all been waiting for. The two great sages, Dr. Justin Sledge of Esoterica and Dr. M. David Litwa, are about to join me and Lord Sobek, Jason from We Are Being Transformed. All the links are in the description for all of their channels. Go and subscribe for all three of those. Let's get right into this. This is the moment that a lot of us have been waiting for, and let's get right into it. Welcome back to the Gnostic Informant, and you are about to attain true gnosis. And if you've seen the title, it is the Logos before Jesus. Why would I say something like that? Well, there are some texts that some say Hermes is the Logos, the word, the messenger. And one of those in particular, Hermetica. And so I want to get into the Hermetica and all things surrounding that, the idea of Logos, what the Hermetica is, sort of the evolution of religion and religious ideas, and how it all sort of flows into different streams and different directions. You got Platonism, you got all the Stoicism, Epicureans, and all these different philosophies that are behind all these religions. And, you know, I'm just a guy that loves this stuff, but we do have two bona fide experts here in the house. Also, I just want to let you guys know as well before we even start, go and subscribe to We Are Being Transformed. This is a new channel by Jason. Let's get him up to 200 subscribers by tonight. Let's do it. Hit the subscriber, hit the bell. I just hit the bell. Whoops, I didn't have the bell. Sorry, Chase. Even though look at, you can see the red bars. I watched both of your videos all the way through. Love your content, and you guys will. If you guys like my channel, you will love Jason's channel. I'm telling you, he's got 2 more coming out, 3 more coming out that he just recorded with Dr. Litwa and Sledge. That's on the way. So go and subscribe to that channel. Also, Dr. Litwa has a channel too. That is in the description. So does Dr. Sledge Esoterica, which all you guys already know about by now, unless you're living under a rock. But subscribe to all those channels. And let's get right into the topic of discussion. Hermetica, the Logos. We do have a few super chats already. But if anyone wants to just start and just give a brief introduction on this text. And yeah, whoever wants to start.
Dr. Litwa, I'll give the floor to you.
Well, yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's such a pleasure to be here, and thanks to Neil and Jason for having us on. Yeah, it's interesting that when you look at Hermetic texts themselves, how important is the idea of the Logos? That's an interesting one. It's already using Stoic terminology. I mean, I think everyone in the ancient world, whether you were a Hermetist or not, knew of Hermes as the Logos being the Greek word for word or message or treatise, sometimes, dramatic plot. As well as things like reason or mind. And I think, having that sort of fuller definition in mind gets us away from, the traditional Christian interpretation of the Logos as word. It is a word, a reasoned word, but it's so much more. And because Hermes was the messenger of his father, the son of the high god Zeus, he is supremely and long before Jesus known to be the reason and mind. But he also shares that role with Athena, and I think that that's worth mentioning, that Athena really is who is feminine, obviously, really is the thought, the phronesis there of her father, the high god. But if we're just focusing on Hermes, yeah, I think it's interesting when you turn to authentic Hermetic texts, how many of the Hermetists, really put the focus on that. I think certainly for Hermes thrice great, which is their particular Egyptian Hermes, is the super sage. And some things transfer over from the Greek Hermes, but some things don't. But yeah, we can talk about the whole grab bag, and I'm sure Justin will take us wherever he wants as well.
Yeah, Dr. Sledge, what do you think about that? And if anything you want to add to that? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. There you go. Oh, for some reason you're muted. Can you guys hear him? Huh. For some reason you're muted right now, and it doesn't say that you're muted. I wonder what something happened with your mic, maybe?
Yeah, maybe the individual mic there.
Yeah. Hey, he'll be right back. It's fine. So while we're waiting for him to come back for the answer, there is a super chat. I do want to get his response, but it does say question for. Oh, he's back. Okay, good. Go ahead. I still can't hear you right now for some reason. I wonder what happened. Interesting. It's weird to edit mic settings. Yeah, your mic's on. It's just we can't hear you right now. You were just talking too right before we started. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Something happened. Yeah. So if you want to get it ready, there's a question for Litwa anyway in the super chats. So take your time. Let's get the super chat going. Dr. Litwa. Question for Dr. Litwa. Thank you, Jamie, for the super chat, by the way. Appreciate it. And you actually help us out by asking a question for Litwa so that you give us Sledge some time, which is perfect. Thank you for that. Does the Christian Carpocrates have any relation to the Harpocrates in the Hermetic religion?
Well, thank you, Jamie. I really appreciate that question. So, yes, absolutely. Carpocrates is the name of a Christian Egyptian sage of the early 2nd century, and he is named after Harpocrates. So Carpocrates and Harpocrates are basically the same name, or you could think of Harpocrates, who is the son of Isis and Osiris, as the main name, and Carpocrates as his epithet, because Carpocrates means master of the harvest, and this god was associated with fertility. And then, like we sometimes still do today, parents name their children after gods and superheroes. So when Carpocrates was born in Egypt, he took on the name of this native Egyptian god Harpocrates. And Harpocrates, again, he's part of the native Egyptian religion, but that's not the same thing as the Hermetic religion. And so I would say that in this case, Harpocrates is just a character that's well known as the son of Isis and Osiris. And he doesn't have a specific role in Hermetic religion. He's associated with silence because he's always a child god, and he always has a finger here, which the Greeks and Romans took as a symbol of shh, but it for the Egyptians, it was just a baby sucking on his finger. And yeah, that's the basics of the relation. I mean, the broader question is, would Carpocrates have known of Egyptian religion, and then as a subset of that, Hermetic religion? Well, yes, he would, absolutely. But we don't know exactly what he knew. We know that Carpocrates and Hermetic believers They both believed in transmigration, but what else they kind of shared, that's up for grabs.
Wow, that was a really good question. I just want to say that. I never thought about that. Really, really sharp question. And Sobek, you got anything to add? Anything you want to throw on that? I see you kind of look like you something maybe you want to say. Wait, now you're muted?
Can you
Okay,
hear
I
me?
was gonna say something's going
Okay.
on. Yeah, now you're
Okay, sorry about that. No, I'm just here for the ride, Neil. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Appreciate all your help.
yeah,
Hopefully, when Dr. Sledge gets back, we will be rocking and rolling. But
yeah,
hi, everybody in the chat. Nice to finally see you face to face and alive.
yeah. Thank you.
But no, I think everybody should just go out and get Dr. Litwa's monograph on the Carpocratians if they want to learn more.
Which will eventually come out in paperback. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to get the Kindle version, I know the hardback is expensive. Basically, if you join Patreon at a certain rate, I can send you the hardback signed. It's probably not going to save you any money, but basically what I do is I'll buy it from the publisher, I sign it, and then I send it to you. But obviously there you'll find all the information that you guys will need for understanding Carpocrates, everything that we can know about this fantastic early Christian sage who's in Egypt and believes in transmigration and runs a secret cult and has a scar on his ear promotes a second baptism of fire and all sorts of great stuff.
Somebody watching right now who might not know what transmigration is, what would you say about what that is?
So transmigration is what the ancient Greeks and Romans thought was an originally Egyptian doctrine, which is the idea that our selfhood survives death, and then as part of the system of providence run by God or often a creator God, if we need additional adjustments to our character, there is no heaven or hell. Our punishment is simply to be spit back and reintegrated into another slave, that is another human life, in which we repeat the process of going through human life for the aim of moral improvement. And the thought was that after so many lives, often very many, up to 1,000 or 2,000, we would eventually get things right and undergo apogenesis, which means that we graduated out of the transmigration, out of the need for transmigration, right? And we entered into the supercosmic realms, which is the realm of no birth and no death.
Now, when I hear that, I think of karma, dharma, nirvana, reincarnation. I mean, obviously you can say that sounds. Do you think maybe they both come from an ancient common, or do you think this is just something that theology kind of just aims that way naturally? Do you think that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, here's a case where we can, I think, talk about diffusion, because in Indo-European languages, we know that there's that Sanskrit and Greek and Latin are related to the common ancestor of Indo-European, and that the Indo-Europeans were, thought to be a tribe of people in the Caucasus Mountains, and groups went east and west. So, the Easterners ended up as far as India, and the Westerners ended up in Spain. And Pythagoras, who spends most of his life in Italy, has this doctrine and remembers it for Western tradition. But it never becomes mainstream Western tradition. Everybody knows it, but it never becomes mainstream belief. Whereas in India, it does become mainstream belief. So definitely, I do think this is an instance of a diffused idea that goes way, way back to prehistoric beliefs. Yeah.